I've been working on this deck for a decent amount of time today, and it's really good. It pretty much can compete with anything in the current historic metagame. And we went up to the full 4 Rampaging Ferocidons in the main deck to really try to punish the field decks, and so far it's working. Oh, Nitro. And yeah, I'm experimenting with a few cards. I have one Bone Crusher Giant in the main. I think this is really good in... How's it going? It's really good in any attrition-y type match, and it's also very good in the mirror. And we've got a 1-1 split of Experimental Frenzy and Hazoret the Fervent. Both very good in different matchups. Hazoret, obviously the faster way to close out the game, but Experimental Frenzy is insane and single-handedly runs away with the match in a lot of different scenarios. So, it's true, alt effects beat you by a hair. And then in the board, we've got Alpine Moon for additional Fields of the Dead hate, along with 2 Goblin Rune Blasters. Goblin Chain Whirler is specifically for goblins, but any other really low-to-the-ground aggressive decks. A Braid is excellent against things like Jund, being able to take out any relevant artifacts, as well as kill a Mayhem Devil. Same thing with Magma Spray, really good against Jund. And Experimental Frenzy, awesome in the mirror, and good in some other longer matches. Anyhow, yeah, we're going to dive in. This deck has been lit. We're going to give it a go. Yeah, this is a really good start. We've got Soulscar Mage, and we also have the Ferocidon if we are playing field. We have a few more lands than I would like to see. I frequently will keep a 1-lander with this deck, so 4 is pretty much the only amount of lands we want to see the entire game. Mazemind Tome I'm happy to see, though. The cats are around somewhere. They're actually running around the house right now, but we will snag them at some point. X-Nightmare, how's it going? And very cool. Do you say that just like, hey? How do you pronounce that? And welcome, by the way. The Real Kill a Dub, thank you for the raid. Glad to have you and all of the raiders here. How did your stream go? Were you playing the Lotus God Brew? I saw you post on Twitter. Yeah, no worries. I frequently will do the same thing. Have a great night, Real Kill a Dub, and thanks again for bringing the raid. Alright, we are going to slow roll the Ramunap runes a little bit. But we would like to draw probably... Actually, really any action spell is going to be good at this point. Opponent's not doing a whole lot over there. I'm not sure what that means, Nitro. Ooh, Languish does hurt, though. Yeah, this is definitely too many lands. But at least we've got Gigantha, a little bit of flood insurance. Yeah, this is a deck that I frequently will keep 1-landers, so getting up to 7 lands this quickly, not ideal. It's possible we could have considered a mulligan. Alright, so this is Mono Black Golos. I think there's a chromatic black deck. I'm imagining that's what we're playing against. I have not played it yet. Oh, I do try to keep the stream family friendly. That's mostly on my end, so, you know, within reason, the chat is fairly free, but because I do have a lot of students that will stop by and say hi, and just in general to be welcoming to as many people as possible, I do try to keep it more or less family friendly. Alright, this Ugin is not ideal, and unfortunately we can't hit Ugin with the Ramunap runes, so let's go to game 2 here. Mark, what's going on? How are you? This is not ideal either, but it's certainly not bad enough to throw back. I try to teach Magic on every stream that I do, and we did have a board game club at school back when we were still meeting in person, where we did play some Magic. Alright, so the options are Lightning Strike or run out the Lava Runner. Lightning Strike is definitely better. I'd like to get the Lava Runner down when it comes in with haste and is a 2-2. And this uses our mana most efficiently. Oh, nice, Nitro. That's awesome. Aha, this tome we can destroy. And then if we hit a land, play a hasty Lava Runner. I think that's the correct play here. No scrying for the opponent. We have a second Abrade to take out a potential Golos. Sounds good. Alright, so while this is not the ideal start, we are putting a good amount of pressure on, and it seems like it's going to be enough. So on to game 3, just like... Oh man, this hand would be absolutely insane if one of these cards was Light Up the Stage. I think as it stands, I'm still going to keep it. We can survive on one for a couple turns, and if we ever hit a second land, this is really, really strong. We are on the draw. So there's a lot of decks you can play, but they either need to be fast enough to beat Field of the Dead, or they have to be doing something that doesn't care about the battlefield getting clogged up with zombies. So like a combo deck, or Approach of the Second Sun, something along those lines. But yeah, there's a lot of viable decks. Oh, okay. This game is not going to go well. That Cry of the Carnarium definitely hurts. Just pass the turn. Probably going to stomp the opponent here so that we can just play out the Bone Crusher Giant next turn if we hit a land. Try to maximize the value from our cards. Alright, still in it, still alive. So now the choice is between Ferocidon and Bone Crusher Giant. To me, Bone Crusher makes the most sense. Again, we haven't seen any life gain from the opponent. And this is going to cost them life if they try to spot remove it. It also puts a little more pressure on them. Good evening, Diswayne. How are you doing? Yeah, Mark, agree with everything that you said there. I think they are cool. I think they usually are tier 2, and that is where they probably should be. It can be very frustrating if an alternate win con deck is holding too large a share of the metagame. I'm doing well, thank you for asking. We are just trying to burn some players out with Mono Red Burn tonight. And so far, I think doing a pretty decent job. So we can go Skewer Lightning Strike, putting them down to 7 here. Or we can run out Ferocidon, because I feel like they probably have at least one Languish in hand. We're going to go for the sure thing of Skewer Lightning Strike, force them to deal with the Bone Crusher, and then have a follow-up Ferocidon. I'm going to hold off on Lightning Striking them until their turn. We didn't give up on it. I frequently like to try different decks, and I honestly do think that this deck is better than the Gruul deck. The Gruul deck is cool and viable, but I wanted to try to play something that I think is really top tier right now and is well positioned, and Mono Red Burn, I think, is the ticket. There's probably one or two more, but Soulscar Mage is the really big one. Not only is it a phenomenal 1-drop, it gives you the ability to deal with large creatures by putting -1/-1 counters on them with your burn spells, pressures the opponent, and it's a wizard. So we have 12 wizards that can make Wizard's Lightning cost only 1 mana. So essentially we get to play Lightning Bolt. We'll play out the Lava Runner here. Let's see what the opponent is on. Okay, so this might be Golgari Collected Company. I suspect that it is. The opponent probably does not want to trade with the Lava Runner. I think we attack, light up the stage, and then hold up Shock to hit the Paradise Druid. Hello, Jeff and Confused. Welcome back. How are you doing tonight? Oh, interesting. They do wish to trade. That is okay. Let's Wizard's Lightning while we get the discount, and then we're going to light up the stage. Oh, you've been playing a lot of Standard. Yeah, this will require a decent amount of wild cards, so that is the one downside of this one, but it's definitely one that I would recommend. Okay, so here, this is a wizard as well, so we can play this out, ping them for 2, and then Wizard's Lightning away the Jadelight Ranger. It seems... Oh, we also then would lose these shocks, though. So we could also shock, light up the stage here. Yeah, I want to get maximum value off of the light up the stage that we have. Nice, Dizwain. I am glad to hear that. And Jeff and Confused, I am glad to hear that you are doing well. What are you playing in Standard right now, Dizwain? Alright, so we are sitting on 3, 5, 7 points of burn, 10 points of burn, which means the opponent really is effectively at 3, and we have this actually, so they're effectively at 1. Let's go ahead and play out this Pyromancer here. We could Wizard's Lightning away the Jade Light Ranger. I just don't see this being relevant. We're almost certainly going to point this at the opponent on their turn. And we only need to find 1 additional point of damage here. Everything nice. Yeah, mono green's really good. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense to me, Dizwain. Okay, so the opponent has Collected Company for sure. Otherwise, they would have just run out this Woe Strider that we know they have in hand. Okay. So, you can play Lava Runner, attack with both. They Collected Company. They'll probably find some blockers for these. We could potentially Lightning Strike them out of the way. If they don't choose to block both of these, we have lethal burn damage. This is going to be a really close game because we do have to worry a little bit about dying on the crackback here as well. So the good news is we do have some instant speed interaction, so if they hit some large creatures, we could potentially like Lightning Strike one out of the way. But yeah, I think mono green makes a ton of sense. Header, what's going on? And thank you for the resub. Really appreciate that. Okay. So does it make sense to get rid of the Woe Strider here? I could do it before they get to Scry as well. It's going to be very close. 4, 3, 2, and 2. So we're not dead on the crackback. I think I'm going to try to burn the opponent out here. And there's some Hyper Slam rewards for you, Eder. Alright, sounds good, Jeff and Confused. Thanks for stopping by. So I'm not sure what the scariest thing that they could find in Golgari colors is here. I guess the Great Henge, if they play that, but this doesn't feel like a Great Henge deck. So as it stands, they can hit us for 9. We'll Lightning Strike end of turn. We need to find 1 more point of damage. The O1s are actually fairly annoying. Oh, Blood Artist. Okay, that is pretty bad for us. Oh, nice. Hyper Tiger. I like it. Alright, so we can point this shock at the Blood Artist here. This way they will have to do their sacrificing now. But the Life Swing is going to be probably just enough to stop us from burning them out here. Eder, how are you doing, by the way? And tell me about your recent Magic adventures. We still have to set up our standing practice time on Sundays. I'm looking forward to that. Alright. So Pyromancer them down to 8. We have Lightning Strike up. We could Chump Block. They've just got us here, unfortunately. Yeah, this is fine. Get Soul Scar, the ability to take out their first 2 relevant permanents, and then a Bone Crusher to follow up with. we are definitely going to bolt the bird, as they say. The only real question is if we want to go Shock Wizard's Lightning. I actually think we want to Stomp this, though, because we may want to run out Bone Crusher next turn. I also want to Stomp because it's important to do this before they have the ability to sacrifice the permanent response, so they can't fizzle the Bone Crusher Giant. Awesome. Did you see Corey Baumeister's Sultai list from one of the recent tournaments? I really like what he did to kind of metagame against the other Sultai decks. It's got some Emergent Ultimatums. It's got Plane-Wide Celebration. Yeah, Narset definitely main deckable right now, for sure. Okay, so I can attack in with the Soulscar Mage first, because if they block, we just play a burn spell, and then they lose the Paradise Druid. And when they don't block, we're going to run out the Bone Crusher Giant here. And we're getting decent pressure. Too bad we didn't find the Grafdigger's Cage to protect from a Collected Company here. We do have the burn to pick off whatever creatures they hit by a Collected Company, though, so I think we're still in good shape. Alright, let's see what they find here. Yeah, I really like Tamiyo as well right now. Alright, this is not all that scary, so let's see. We get to Shock the Ooze, Lightning Strike the Murderous Rider, and Wizard's Lightning the opponent. I could also just Wizard's Lightning away this Paradise Druid. Let's see, this is very close, I think. If we hit the opponent, they're taking 11 damage here. We're going face. This puts a lot of pressure on the opponent here. Yeah, I tried just one match with it. I wasn't super invested at the time, but it was very, very fun. And a different take on Sultai that definitely beats up on the more stock lists. Not that there's like a set stock list, but I guess I should say just kind of like the older Sultai versions. Alright, literally, oh, I was going to say almost anything is lethal here. If we hit a land that would have given us lethal after Lightning Strike, I feel like I kind of need to take out the Blood Artist, which is unfortunate. I'm going to start with Grafdigger's Cage. So we could Lightning Strike Blood Artist, and they have to basically give up their board. Just debating if I should attack first or not. Make them make blocks, kind of counting on the Blood Artist life gain. I don't think so, though. Let's just do it this way. Wow. I am shocked that they took the Soulscar Mage damage there. Any land is now lethal. And any burn spell obviously works as well. Okay. Well, this is a bit unfortunate. We didn't hit either of those two things. And the Priest of Forgotten Gods is a fairly large threat. They can now sacrifice the food. They left up mana for that. I think we just swing with both, then play Ferocidon. Oh, I could play Ferocidon first. That way when they sack the food, they won't gain life, or they lose the Paradise Druid as a blocker. Lago 255, what's going on? How you doing? I am playing some mono red burn tonight. We're currently 1-0 on stream, and it's felt really strong so far. A pretty aggressive interactive list. Yeah, Eder, I could definitely see Krasis being super good now that everybody's playing for these long-term games. Alright, so I think they Yeah, they're planning on sacking the food, it looks like, but that just doesn't do anything right now. Yeah, Ferocidon, my friend. Lago, how are you doing today, and what have you been playing? Anyway, this is a keep. Much rather have 1 land in the opener than 4 lands, like in game 1. Or in the other match. Yeah, ECD is the one card that I think would potentially pull people into Bant. Alright, so I think we just attack with the Soul Scar Mage and Wizard's Lightning the opponent here. Oh, the Blood Artist. Yeah, it does get the Blood Artist. That is a good call. So maybe it is worth bringing it in. It's really close. I don't know how often Gigant is going to come up in this matchup. It'll be interesting to see if we would rather have a Chain Whirler than if we draw the Skewer the Critics. Yeah, tell me more about this Simic aggro deck, Lago. I'm very intrigued by that. Okay, so we can shock the Gilded Goose here and then play out the Lava Runner. I think that's certainly worthwhile. This puts decent pressure on the opponent already. The alternative would have been shocking the opponent there and making the same play, but I think limiting their ability to make and use food tokens is relevant. And I'm happy to trade for this Paradise Druid. Alright, we have a lot of burn in hand and a Ferocidon if we hit 1 more land. Yeah, well, at least Teferi is not around anymore, but certainly Yorion can really do some broken things with it. Alright, so I think we do just go for Ferocidon here. If they have removal for it, it's pretty bad for us. They will get to gain 2 life and kind of time walk us. The other option would be to Lightning Strike the Murderous Rider and then just hold up a shock. So, higher upside here. Much less downside here. I'm going to go for the upside play, but I think this is a little bit greedy. My gut is telling me that the other one was the right one, so hopefully the gut was wrong here, but I see them looking at the Ferocidon. Alright. Alright, so we have another Ferocidon. We're given the chance to make the exact same mistake another time. I think this time I'm going to play it safer, since we got burned last time. Or we could bank on them not having another removal spell. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Skip the early game with Grazer. Yeah, I like it. Alright. I guess I can do... No, I want to do it now because I don't want to give them the opportunity to spend the mana off of Phyrexian Tower here. Yeah, feel free to post a link to the deck list. I'd be happy to check that out. This has been an interesting match. I'm enjoying this Golgari Company matchup. Alright, we will get to shock this guy away. And the way that it tapped, they tapped the Phyrexian Tower, so we'll take that. Alright, I feel like I need to go for the Ferocidon now. No Uro, that is wild. I feel like if you're playing Simic and it's mid-range, Uro is very hard to pass up on. Alright, so do they have Collected Company here? And if they do, how bad is it for us to attack? I think it's okay. They would need 2 3-power hits to really punish us. So they'll take a couple damage. I'm going to go for this. We're unfortunately not really finding a way to close out the game if we're not attacking. Epics, what's going on? How are you doing tonight? Alright, so here's the Collected Company. Come on, low power creatures. Alright. I like it. This works out very well. I'm hoping that they double block the Ferocidon and then we have to blow them out with a Braid. I'm liking this more and more by the second. They're going to sack the food again. They're not going to make the same mistake. Alright, I think we're in good shape now. We've navigated the dangerous part there. And they're limited on how many other creatures they can actually play until they deal with this Ferocidon. Other decks that run Uro, they beat you to it. Huh, interesting. Okay. I guess I could see that, because Gargaroth is obviously a much faster big threat that they need to deal with, since Uro isn't coming back for a little while in a mid-range deck. That does make sense. Uro just seems so powerful, it's hard for me to get out of that mindset of, you know, I should be running this if I'm in Simic colors. But I could actually see that reasoning holding up. Okay, I'll check that out. So they can only activate the Ooze once. I think we just abrade the Ooze, play the Lava Runner here. It keeps trying to keep the Ramunap runes untapped, which is not what I want. So we have plenty of instants and sorceries in the yard. The Lava Runner is going to come down with haste and the additional power no matter what the Ooze hits. Yeah, links are allowed. Feel free to post. Check that out. I like CGB quite a bit. I don't watch a ton of Magic on YouTube, but I think he is certainly top-notch with his videos. Alright, and you know, we're whittling the opponent down here. They really can't play much else, and we have 3 burn in hand. So I think we're going to get them here. Unless they have a way to deal with the Ferocidon and gain some life. Yeah, this is not going to work. And us being at 13 means they're not just killing us with the Blood Artist either. Yeah, Ferocidon is so good. I just kept increasing the number in the main deck. I think I started with 2, and I very quickly got it up to 4, because it is awesome. Of course. Alright, this is a really, really good opener. We'll see what Larry is on over there. But pretty much any opener that has Soulscar Mage and a couple burn spells is awesome for this deck. Oh, we're on the mirror. This is going to be really interesting. We're going to have to play well. So I think playing Soulscar Mage here is a big mistake for me, because they're so likely to have a way to remove it. Let's just start trading 1 for 1 with them, since we're going to have card advantage both being on the draw, also not mulliganing, and we have a main deck Bone Crusher Giant. Ooh, we're playing a Sunscorched Desert. Alright. So here, I'm pretty sure I want to main phase stomp this. My only worry is that they can remove their own creature in response and we don't get the Bone Crusher Giant. That's still a nice card advantage swing though, so let's wait till their turn. If they're spending a burn spell on their own creature, that means that they're obviously not getting the advantage of using it on one of ours. I don't need the 4/3. So the most important card in the mirror is Experimental Frenzy. The fact that our opponent is stuck on 2 means they're pretty far from casting it, which I feel good about. We can double spell here to pressure their removal, because if they have exactly Lightning Strike, they get to pretty efficiently deal with this Bone Crusher Giant. Whereas if we play the Pyromancer and the Soulscar Mage, because they only have one red source, it's harder for them to deal with. So I'm actually going to go this way. And I'm going to do something really sneaky. I'm going to click through to the next main phase. They may choose to respond with removal on the Pyromancer when we go to combat. And then we'll get to have the Soulscar Mage survive. They're going to do it right now, so I don't have to be sneaky here. The Soulscar Mage is our better of the two creatures. So yeah, if you're in the opponent's position, you definitely want to, if you have an instant speed removal spell, wait till the end step to make sure that the opponent's done playing creatures, because there may be a better target coming. Alright, let's just run out our Bone Crusher now. And get another Ramunap Runes down. Yeah. Skewer has underperformed for me in this deck. I think I started with 4 copies of it, and I've trimmed it down to 2 because, 1, not being able to cast it pre-combat often will limit the pump for your Soulscar Mage. And then you do have to hard cast it sometimes, and 3 mana for 3 damage is not so good. Alright, let's just Lightning Strike their Bone Crusher out of the way and grab our Giganta here. Oh my god, Lago, I cannot agree more. I think the that Epiphany deck is so much fun to play. And I actually honestly think it's tier 1 if the current metagame stays the same, because having all of that counter magic against Sultai, which is trying to play really expensive spells, works out pretty well. Yeah, that is my favorite standard deck to play by far. And it's way more consistent than my second favorite, which is the kind of Is It Spells decks. Oh, I'll get you the list. Let me pull it up right now. Yeah, the opponent also not having a companion works really well for us here. Just free extra 5/5. Light Up the Stage is a very good draw. Here we go. There you go, Dizwain. Oh, nice. We got Light Up the Stage ourselves. This is awesome. Okay. We should definitely be able to close out the game here. Got a lot of burn sitting on the board with the Ramunap Runes, and they've got a 5/5 to deal with. Let's sequence this correctly. I was going to play Ferocidon first, which would have definitely been a mistake. So the opponent really trying to maximize, I guess, on Ramunap Runes value, but I think the Sunscorched Desert is going to end up hurting more than helping, because it will make your mana kind of awkward at times. It's going to limit the amount of turns where you can double spell. So I think the correct mana base is 4 Ramunap Runes and 17 Mountains. Alright. Play our land. I could just skewer the Lava Runner. Really anything wins here. We'll just attack with everybody and then skewer them afterwards. Good game, opponents. Hey. I don't need more than 1 land here. Look at all of these 1-mana spells. We're keeping this. Oh, hello again, opponent. Good to see you here. My choice of ways to deal with the Lava Runner, we'll do it on the opponent's turn. And again, I'm going to play out my creatures last, because they're very likely to be removed by the burn deck. So I want to just deal with their threats, accrue some card advantage, and go from there. Alright, I'm going to let them attack first. Maybe they're playing Rimrock Knight or something. Who knows? Yeah, Sublime is insane. if you get to 6 mana and you have a Sublime Epiphany, it's pretty hard to lose unless you're just so far behind. Alright. So... oh man, this is actually a really interesting spot. Because we can get blown out by trying to shock the Soulscar Mage. The way that we play around that is we play our own Soulscar Mage first. Because then... oh wow, the sequencing can mess us up though. This is... so I want to get -2 or -1/-1 counters on this. If we play Soulscar Mage, go to shock, they shock our Soulscar Mage, we get totally blown out. So I think what I'm actually going to do is just Lightning Strike the Soulscar Mage and play it very safe. And they didn't have a 1-mana spell because that resolved instantly, so all that was for naught, but I think it was an interesting spot and important to think through the different permutations. So they wanted to bring in a Chain Whirler, I see. Alright, let's get our Soulscar Mage down here, and then we've got double shock up. We can now blow the opponent out if they go for removal on the Soulscar Mage. I think what I'm going to do is block the Chain Whirler and then shock it, and then we have another shock in case something goes south. The mirror match is really interesting. There's a lot to think about. So if they go for like a Lightning Strike or a hard cast Skewer here, we just shock the chain. Oh, this is only 2 damage. So now I'm thinking about shocking the opponent here. They have another spell that hurts us, but they didn't have one last turn, so I'm going to assume they don't have it now. Alright, that was a good sequence for us. And now it's between grabbing Jegantha or playing out both Lava Runners. I usually err on the side of what immediately impacts the board. But opponent definitely has gotten some extra cards going over there, so it's not over by any stretch. Oh, Q3 Sarah, thank you for the follow. Glad to have you here. Welcome to the stream. All right. Really just want to find Experimental Frenzy at this point. That would be by far our best draw. But we will get to run out of 5/5 here, which is not trivial for the opponent to deal with. Hey, look at that. So, I guess actually we're supposed to play Jegantha first, because it'll be locked in our hand if we play the Frenzy first. Okay, Sarah. Interesting. And, nice, I'm glad to hear you are also on the historic burn train. Okay, well, Dizwain, thank you for deciphering that. And, you know, I was close, but yes, welcome K Sarah to the stream. So this tells me that they obviously have a burn spell in hand, because they're trying to trade off Bone Crusher Giant plus burn spell for Jegantha, but we are not going to allow them to make that trade. And it's, I guess if it's exactly a Lightning Strike, they could now trade Lava Runner for Jegantha. Interesting. So before we attack, let's play the Frenzy, because we may want to use this mana this turn. I'm happy to see them respond to this, because now we know that it's safe to get in there with Jegantha if we want to. Got another Soulscar Mage here. Alright, so we hit them down to 7. Yeah, I like that a lot. This puts good pressure on them. Yeah, the opponent knows that Experimental Frenzy is kind of the end of the game. It is true. Yeah, you're right, Knockroll. I think I just got very excited there. The reason that I played it, I think, is because the other heuristic that I have in my head is empty out your hand before playing Experimental Frenzy. But you could see that it actually hurt our ability to dig deeper off the top of our deck. And since we did have Giganta as potential extra mana, that might have been very relevant. We're kind of flooded out here, actually. So I'm pretty sure we're just chump blocking with the Soulscar Mage because we have such good late game. We just need to stay alive. So we're going to leave this guy back here. Yeah, exactly, Knockroll. So I can't imagine... Oh, I guess they have perfect information. Except for the card in our hand. We'd have to blow up Experimental Frenzy for this to bite them, so they should definitely be attacking here. Now we also have perfect information. They have us effectively down to 4. Which is actually not that scary here. 3 is very scary, so we could keep the Soulscar Mage alive for one more turn and maybe deal a ton of damage to them here. Definitely like having the option of having it as a blocker there instead of the 1 point last turn, but I think, again, we can afford to wait a single turn. Alright, so hard cast Light Up the Stage, a little bit awkward. Definitely want to tap one of the Ramunap runes, preserve our life total. Second Frenzy, not what we're looking for. So we can pillar the opponent, chump block, play out this Frenzy here. Then we are dead to Ramunap runes. Wow. Yeah, kind of an unfortunate series. Play this first. We can play a mountain if a wizard's lightning. Okay. So we can get rid of one of the Bone Crusher giants and then block the other one, dropping to 1. Yeah, it seems like our only real shot here. I don't think there's a benefit to doing it on their turn or ours. Alright. So just barely staying alive here. We've got a ton of mana in play. So maybe we can string together an insane combo here off the top of our deck. Obviously, if they have an additional burn spell, it's not great. Yeah, if we rip like Shock into Skewer into a bunch of other stuff, who knows? Although this Shock is unfortunately going to our hand. Oh, I could have maybe stopped it during my upkeep there. So we have to run this out to get some redraws. So close, so close. Oh, man. Alright, game 3 it is. Alright. This is definitely solid. We've got a little bit of built-in card advantage, a couple threats, and some ways to deal with any of their early plays. Ooh, not Gruul. That is another great question, and you're probably right. So the reason that I don't feel like it's great is because it doesn't really get rid of any of their creatures, and it just dies to all the 3-mana burn spells pretty efficiently, but it does definitely block the Bonecrusher Giants, and we've seen that they do have multiple, so that is a really fair point. And it's possible that it's better than maybe the Pyromancers. We should be heavily favored, though, just because of Giganta. Okay, so we can Skewer Lightning. They likely have Chain Whirler coming down here. Can also grab Giganta. I'm gonna Skewer. Make sure we're getting that cheap cost. Then we have Lightning and Bonecrusher for whatever they play. But I do think we're... yeah, there's the Chain Whirler. So in response to the trigger, we're going to Wizard's Lightning it. And let's get Giganta. I do want to get maximum value out of the Bonecrusher, because we have fallen behind on cards here. Ferocidon seems sketchy, to say the least. Just because that's going to punish them quite a bit being on the draw. Yeah, let's just go ahead and land Giganta. I could see Ferocidon potentially on the play, although still 3-mana, 3/3 that gets hit by a lot of removal doesn't seem good, but on the draw, I would definitely not want to keep that in. What? Okay, opponent. Okay. So how do we do this? Obviously, none of these get through. We could Soulscar Mage, taking some damage, and then stomp a Ferocidon. The only way that that punishes us is if they have exactly a shock. This is a very bold strategy, and it's throwing me for a loop. I'm gonna go for this. Yeah, no worries, Mark. Alright, so do we just attack here? I think we do. And then they get totally blown out unless they have exactly shock. I guess Skewer is now turned on as well. I think I want to let them die to their own Ferocidons. So yeah, I'm going to hold off. There are a decent amount of 1-mana spells there that would get rid of Giganta, and then we help them out by clearing their Ferocidons. That's probably something that I say quite a bit, I imagine. Alright, let's go ahead and tap this for mana. So we could stomp and sacrifice Ramunap runes. Could also trade with one of the Ferocidons here favorably. Yeah, let's just pass. They can attack with both. We stomp. Okay, they're just gonna attack with one. So we can stomp it and block it with the Soulscar Mage. Does feel a little bit like we're doing them a favor. Ah, Dizwain. Well, at least we took less damage there. But yeah, Thank you, everybody in the chat, for remembering that when I didn't, despite the symbol being right in front of me. Okay, so can main phase light up the stage here. Can just run out our Bone Crusher. This has gotten very interesting all of a sudden. I'm gonna go for light up the stage. Alright, so we can Lightning Strike away this Ferocidon and hit them pretty low, and then the one that's remaining is still pressuring them. Because they're just not able to run out a bunch more creatures now. This is a weird match. Maybe it was a brilliant play, though, to make this thing a 1/1, so it doesn't have any offensive ability, and it still hurts them every time they play a creature. So I was just a step ahead of the chat in not remembering that it had menace. Alright. So, I mean, Ramunap Runes puts them to 2. They really can't run out any more creatures. Let's get the Bone Crusher down here. And I don't actually care about them having perfect information. I think it's more valuable to maximize our mana, especially with things like Experimental Frenzy and Ramunap Runes. Okay. Is there a way that we die here? Don't think there is. If we just block, they would have to target the Bone Crusher to get rid of it, or they'd play 2 burn spells at us. We trade with the Soulscar Mage. And John Likes Games, thank you for the raid. We are attempting to navigate this burn mirror match, and it is super close, but they are dead in 2 turns. We have to survive until then. Oh, does Lightning Strike just do it? It sure does. Wow. Tried my best to punt this one, but got there in the end. Just between you and me, May, Dancy Booch, welcome everybody, welcome John. We are... Yeah, this is fine. We've got a threat, a way to draw some extra cards, and plenty of burn. Oh, and you're handing out sweet emotes to the chat? This is wonderful. Merfolk? What is going on here? I have no idea what exactly the opponent is up to, but I'm very nervous. I feel like the Merfolk are a tricky group. Alright, let's go ahead and attempt to run out this Pyromancer. Yeah, I really do need to work on that, Not Gruel. That is a great point. Merfolk Collected Company. Yeah, I mean, those are the colors for sure. What is this person? Alright, so some serious Merfolk synergies. We can 2-for-1 ourselves, get in with the Pyromancer, and then light up the stage. I don't think I'm opposed to that. This card seems like it can do some big things. And light up the stage will help make up some of that card disadvantage. Yeah, Nockrul, that's what I suspected. Oh, thank you, K Sarasara. Glad to get the inside scoop there. And yeah, enjoy your snack, John. Yeah, Frenzy was a nice hit here. It does mean we're not playing what's in our hand. Have to run out of land to be able to cast it. It feels really strong. Let me just quickly consider my other options. I could hard cast the Skewer, attack with this. Play out a Lava Runner. Now, let's get Frenzy going. The upside is real. Yes, at some point, we can blow up the Frenzy. That is very true. Although, I do get the sense that this Merfolk deck is not going to give us the longest amount of time to run out our cards. And they're just untapping everything. There's a lot of synergy going on the opponent's side, and I don't like it one bit. No! Okay. So, Good Frenzy takes basically our whole turn. And we are not guaranteed to make a land drop, I guess. Could play out... Wow. Yeah, they've got us in a spot. That was a pretty crazy sequence there. And we're basically dead next turn. So we can skewer this. Yeah, I think I have to hold off on the Frenzy. Let's attack first. Because if we skewer the Marrow Reejerey, then they will lose the Trickster if they block with it. And we'll run out the Lava Runner here. Okay, we're hanging in. We're hanging in. Yeah, agreed, not Gruul. That was definitely the line that seemed to have the best upside. I think I'm fine trading here. We have a great late game with this Experimental Frenzy. Okay, so we can go Soulscar Mage first, then Experimental Frenzy. That seems really good. Yeah, they're out of gas over here now. Yeah, that definitely time locked us on that turn. But I think we're holding up okay. Would have liked to find a land there. They can hit us down to 9, but we're going to absolutely go nuts with this Frenzy pretty shortly. They are all about the synergy, though. Gotta respect that. Okay. Gotta land here. Lava Runner. And grab Giganta, I guess. We can swing in with the Soulscar Mage. And the Lava Runner. Trade there. Let's keep the Soulscar Mage back to try to block the Adept. I know, Rocket Man, that was intentional. I gotta throw the opponents for a loop. They'll never suspect the burn deck, right? Yeah, Frenzy in general, incredibly good, but with our current hand, it is actually holding us back a bit. And that Collected Company, not bad. Drop to 1 here. And we kind of need a miraculous string of cards from Experimental Frenzy. Alright, Lightning Strike seems like a good start. I'm just trying to decide if it makes sense to start clearing out their permanents and then getting an attack in with the Soulscar Mage. What's the most likely to get us to lethal? I think it's just burning them as much as possible. Although, actually, this unlocks the Lava Runner too. I'm going to use 3 damage spells on the opponent. Can also try to clear their board completely, starting with the Brazen Borrower, and survive that way. If we blank, though, we're out of luck. They go to 9. We only have 4 untapped mana. Yeah, I think our best chance is actually not winning this turn. Alright, so this locks us out of ever casting another creature for the time being. Which of their guys taxes us? This one? Only if I target a merfolk. Aha. Alright, and so we can shock away nothing on the board, but we can hit them. And we're surviving. Need to have all of these blockers and hope that they cannot tap down anything. This is a wild game here, everybody. These merfolk, like I said earlier, very, very tricky. Alright, so what are all these abilities doing? Can draw a card by tapping their 3 merfolk, but then we get some attacks in. Oh. Alright. What does tapping 5 do? Put a +1/+1 counter. Alright, they're just swinging away. Swinging for the fences. What is up, Spoojum? How are you doing? What did you think of the deck? So far, I've been very impressed. We haven't lost a match yet tonight. Alright, this seems like the most reasonable way to trade off our stuff. And yeah, now we just need to string together a million burn spells here. Yeah, it's super fun. Very interactive. Alright, this is a start. So, Stomp. We could even play this out as a blocker. So now I have to consider, is there benefit to hitting the Deeproot Elite, playing this out as a blocker, and maybe finding one more blocker? Still feels like our best chance is to burn them out, so let's go ahead and start going for that plan. Uh-oh. We've hit a wall, everybody. Yeah, this is a very, very strong start. We got Soulscar Mage, Light Up the Stage, and a bunch of shocks. Also helps that the opponent is mulliganing into Oblivion here. Maybe some frustration after the first couple. Not often that you see a mull to 3. Yeah, sorry, opponent. I don't think it is, just because it's very rarely getting in attack damage, and I'm pretty sure everything we brought in is better than it. But it is always something to consider. So yeah, I'm going to shock here first, just pump up the Soulscar Mage, and then light up the stage. But I think your question also brings up another interesting point, Dizwain, in that maybe all of our things with spectacle costs go down just because we're less guaranteed to actually be able to use that. And this is just a solid opener, not throwing this one back. Soulscar is really nice because it allows you to even kind of deal with larger blockers because of the counters that go on rather than just the direct damage being done. So I could Wizard's Lightning here, run out Soulscar Mage, getting through a lot of damage with the plan of potentially Pillar of Flaming something. I could also use Pillar here and then hold up a 3 damage spell for something that's a little bit larger. I do want to get them under pressure, though, because, again, that Collected Company turn can be brutal. So I want to hit their life total down quite a bit. I think with double Soulscar Mage, very likely we get the reduced cost on Lightning, so don't hate holding that up here. Alright, do they have Brazen Borrower, and they just couldn't play it last turn because they didn't have a Forest yet? Ah, the Trickster. Yeah, I'm going to clear out the blocker and try to keep pressure on them. But Need to not draw any more lands. Alright, I don't know why they gave up so quickly. They obviously didn't know that we were out of gas, but we'll take it. Huh. This is a really interesting one. Light up the stage is nice. Don't have any early threats. We do have Frenzy. We have the ability to deal with whatever they're doing. I'm going to keep this. It is definitely loose. We do have a lot of 1 and 2 drops we can draw. And we can, again, at least deal with anything early that they play. Mono Red John! It would probably be this one, Diswayne, and I'm not just saying that because I'm playing it currently. I think you're going to get a ton of matchups in because it's a fairly, quick deck to play. And it's very, very good. Yeah, I think that's the play here, although they very likely have 3 mana anyway, so I am considering a little bit getting out a threat, and then when they tap out, removing their larger creature. I actually like that. If they don't have a land, and they use the bird or the goose to play something like a Mayhem Devil, just Lightning Strike Mayhem Devil attack is really good. And if they do have a land, we probably didn't accomplish that much by getting rid of the goose right now anyway. Yeah, I don't want this to stick around long term. I totally agree, not Gruul. But I think for now, I'm okay with it. Alright, so I can Lightning Strike the Woestrider, swing in with the Pyromancer. They can't scry if they want to block it with the O1, and then maybe light up the stage if we have that option. You can always skewer if they don't block. Yeah, Diswayne, I agree with all of that as well. I really do think if you wanted to just get into Historic, and especially if you wanted to grind a little bit and get a bunch of matches in, Mono Red Burn is the way to go. Oh man, are we supposed to light up the stage here? Or are we supposed to get rid of the bird? So the one concern I do have is they have Collected Company next turn. They could have a land Collected Company anyway. I think I'm going to allow the bird to survive a little bit longer. These burn spells may start going at the opponent's face. Alright, and I'd rather use Shock on the bird anyway. Every point of damage counts. Mark thinks we should have bolted the bird. Not Gruul probably thinks that as well, but I'm going to respectfully disagree. We're going to play fast and loose with this Gilded Goose. I just don't see them having the time to start cranking out a bunch of food just yet. They even play Trail of Crumbs? I was not aware that that was in any of the Historic decks. Alright, and now we get to shock away the Priest. Could Lightning Strike the Woestrider. They have to chump block the Pyromancer. Could also go shock the opponent, light up the stage, skewer, Lightning Strike. Man. Because I don't think I get to light up the stage if I don't do it this way. Light up stage. Oh, we're going to be 1 mana short of the Lightning Strike then, so they keep the Woestrider around. I mean, I think light up the stage is really good. I'm going for it. We'll get rid of the Priest at least. Alright. Alright, so this is great. We can Wizard's Lightning the Woestrider and then skewer the Priest. Gonna do it in this order, so they can't sacrifice the Priest for value. Don't think there's any reason to attack first. Alright, we're stringing together as many spells per turn as we can over here. So they're one card away from being able to escape the Woe Strider currently. More Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Okay. So I could just double Lightning Strike here, attack with the Pyromancer. They return the Woe Strider next turn, and they get some Scribes off it, but we have Experimental Frenzy. Could also Soul Scar Mage, deal with the Priest. They get to do a couple food things, but it's not the end of the world, and at least we have the Soul Scar Mage value. Yeah, I'm not one to give up on free value. So I think it makes sense to attack first in this scenario. I would actually be very happy if they were to trade off any of their things other than the O1 for the Pyromancer here. So certainly Priest, I'd be happy with that trade. I'm going to take it on the chin. And yeah, Priest is the really scary card because then they get to start making us sacrifice our creatures. This is going to be really interesting because they have a very broken play stuff from the top of the deck engine in Bolas's Citadel. I'm hoping that we can pressure their life total enough that even if they draw it, they can't make good use out of it. Alright, they've assembled the cat, but no oven just yet. Okay. So feels like we need to get rid of the Woe Strider before we get Frenzy online. Could 2-for-1 ourselves. Get like attacking with both, perhaps. That way, if they block Soul Scar Mage, we're in great shape. Although they'll probably just block and sacrifice one of the O1s. Yeah, I want to empty the hand before we really go nuts with the Experimental Frenzy. This is a weird one for sure. I'm doing this pre-combat because I don't want them to get scry value off of any of their creatures when we attack in. And yeah, hopefully Frenzy can get us the rest of the way, but the opponent being at 13 and still having a reasonable board is not great. Oh, they do have Trail of Crumbs. Not Gruul. Should have listened to you. Now the Goose is finally going to become a problem. Alright, it's frenzying time. Yeah, I didn't think that they actually ran Trail of Crumbs, but clearly I am mistaken. And attacking in actually just helps them sacrifice another food. So I gotta hold off for now. You come from a family of powerful psychics? I mean, that is a great skill to have, Not Gruul. Yeah, so the opponent's gonna get to draw a couple additional cards here. Trail of Crumbs plus Bolas's Citadel is especially backbreaking. So we do need to get the game over before that happens. I agree with you that this one does seem better. It is definitely more consistent and a better deck. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this one as well. So I would not hesitate, if you're worried about the fun factor, to build Mono Red Burn. It's very interactive and quite fun still. Alright, so we can pick off the Goose. I think that's step one here. Play out a land. And the good news is we're not loading up the yard because we get to exile the Goose. Hey, sorry, Not Gruul. I'm just speaking the truth here. Sometimes the truth hurts. Alright, still don't see a really big benefit to attacking in. It just seems like free Trail of Crumbs activations. Just like love. That's right, Rocket Man. And in this case, we're really touching on both, because not Gruul Then Die loves Gruul. And we all do, to be fair. Alright, we are in the midst of a grindy matchup. It's just whose engine is going to help more. Ooh, Ferocidon is a big pickup here. That's going to work wonders for us. And then at some point we will have to blow up our own Experimental Frenzy to unlock the power of the hand that we are accruing. But yeah, this stopping the Cat Oven Value Town combo is really big. Now, Cat Oven Trail of Crumbs still provides a lot of value. Not going to blow up the Frenzy just yet. Also, not going to attack in just yet. This is a weird one, to say the least. Yeah, not Gruul. I think that Gruul Company, I think there is something there as well. To be totally honest, I don't think it's going to end up being like a tier 1 deck, which is not the end-all be-all, but it certainly can be powerful. I think part of the thing holding it back is that you are playing, you know, a 2-color mana base, when something like this deck is at least as powerful and just way more consistent. And you get to use more utility lands like Ramunap Roots. Yeah, exactly. These Raptors are going to do some work. A Wizard's Lightning. Start pointing at the opponent now. Maybe chain together some nice burn. Prowess going. Now I gotta be a little careful because these Ferocidons are going to tax us as well, but if we can set up a giant attack at some point, that could certainly be worth it. Oh, yet another Ferocidon? Okay, so with all these Ferocidons out here, are we at the point now where attacking makes sense because they get taxed quite a bit for every Cauldron Familiar that comes back? Or do we wait one more turn? I don't love all the cards they get to draw off of it, although they can still sack and draw anyway. Yeah, let's see if we can start impacting the opponent's life total a bit now. Don't want to give them the option of trading for the Ferocidon here. Yeah, it's really close, right, Dancy Booch? They are getting good value, but I think now at this point we're setting up for a turn where, as early as next turn, potentially, we could win the game. And this Trail of Crumbs engine, plus the fact that I know they play Bolas' Citadel and could potentially sacrifice and deal 10 damage to us very quickly, makes me want to pressure them as much as I can and try to start closing things out. And yeah, they're gonna, you know, take 4 life loss here, or maybe even more, from bringing back the cats. Yeah, Experimental Frenzy, very, very good. Alright, Mayhem Devil is a scary one. I'm hoping that the double Ferocidon is going to be enough to hold off some really insane Mayhem Devil shenanigans, but we'll see. Oh, well, it can squeak through now, but not last turn when they could have triple blocked with the Cauldron Familiars. But yeah, good call, not Gruul. I keep overlooking the Menace on this card. I just haven't played with or against it all that much. So yeah, they can ping us here, but every time they try to ping us, they're going to be taking 2 damage from the Ferocidons. So they may have to start trying to attack down these Ferocidons with the Mayhem Devil triggers, which is definitely good for us. Alright, they've opted to not do anything on their turn. We do have to be a little bit careful because the lower we drop ourselves, the more likely they are to get us into Mayhem Devil lethal range. Let's just see. have the ability to do... Each one of these will do 3 damage. Sack it. Yeah, we can really afford to play, I think, just one more creature. Maybe we do blow up the Experimental Frenzy, attack with everything here, and then use our hand. Let's attack with everything first. This is a crazy game. Very tough to navigate, especially in the short time that we are awarded with all of the timers and stuff. But my plan, I think, is to see if they try to get rid of our Rampaging Ferocidons, then blow up the Frenzy, play a land Ferocidon from hand, maybe after playing the Lava Runner for free. We're going to put the opponent to some tough decisions at least. Yeah, so we have 4 damage just kind of banked up in our hand. Absolutely, Disway, and that is part of the calculation as well. It really depends on sort of how the opponent handles this combat. If they really mess it up and they drop themselves too low and we have at least 1 Ferocidon left, locking them out of life gain, we could just deal, 4 from hand. I have a feeling they might even decide to give up a Mayhem Devil at some point. To try to get both Ferocidons off the table? I'm not sure. Yeah, Ferocidon is an awesome card. I really like it. I think, honestly, very well designed. Feels like it's at the right power level. Really good in certain matchups. Totally unimpactful in others. Just a cool card. And it's definitely done work for us. I think, I don't know if you were here earlier, Not Gruel, but I was telling the viewers that I started out with 2 of them in the main deck, and I moved up to 4 so quickly. Yeah, and a symmetrical effect, exactly. So you have to build around it to make it good in your deck. It's just not totally free value. I have to keep in mind, we're going to take 1 damage from destroying our... Oh no, it doesn't say sacrifice. It says destroy. So we won't be taking damage from that, thankfully. Yeah, this should be game. They're tapped out now, and either they're giving up their Mayhem Devil to get rid of the other Ferocidon, or they're just taking, insane amounts of damage here. Yeah, so this is good. This is very good. Yep, exactly. Put them under a lot of pressure, and we're going to be able to close it out pretty easily, actually, now that they're still going to be locked out of life gain. And we have lots of burn in hand. Yeah, it's really solid, Dancy Booch, 100%. Okay, so just dotting our I's and crossing our T's, they can bring back 1 more cat here, and that will do some damage to us, but not enough. So let's go ahead and activate this. And Pyromancer them out of this one. That was a cool game. Definitely a tricky one to navigate. Now at least it has the courtesy to tell you this violates your companion rule, but it doesn't give you a chance to fix it. It just reverts your deck to your non-sideboarded deck and goes right to the game. I'm not sure why they couldn't go the extra step and give you a chance to try to sideboard again if you make that mistake. But something to know, be careful if you're playing a companion and have sideboard cards that can, violate the companion condition. Kind of want to just play Grafdigger's Cage immediately here. Doesn't really do a whole lot to get this down right now. I'd rather get it down with haste anyway. And this is going to really mess them up. Yeah, it feels amazing, Not Gruel. Totally agree. Alright, so this is a wizard. We can play this and Wizard's Lightning away the Priest of Forgotten Gods. Then we still have a Braid for things like the Oven. World I Live, thank you for the raid and welcome to all of the raiders. I hope you had a great stream, and I'm glad you are here. What were you streaming? Are you also playing Arena just now? Or World 1 Live? It might not be World I Live. Maybe World 1 Live. Alright, so we can Wizards Lightning. Oh, I should have held off on this land actually, because I'm probably going to light up the stage here. But yeah, let's go ahead and Wizards Lightning. Only way we get really burned by this is if we hit like double lands. Hello, hello. Yeah, welcome everybody. We are just playing some Historic right now. Some mono red burn. And it's going really well. We are actually undefeated so far tonight, and it's been a lot of fun. World 1 Live, what were you playing? And thank you for the follow, by the way. Alright, so we're going to shock the Goose in response to Cindervines here. This pillar is sorcery speed, and it can go to the face. Yeah, nice to meet you as well. So I think we attack, light up the stage again. We're pretty easily outracing the Cindervines, I believe. Now, they can blow up the Grafdigger's Cage, so we got to keep that in mind. But I'm hoping that we can get far enough ahead that it won't really matter. I think it's honestly partially Grafdigger's Cage hate. They might not have a ton of other ways to remove it, but there seem to be other options. But they have to be aware that that is a card that could hose them. Alright, this is the pillar from the first light up the stage, so let's go with that. We'll hold up a Braid for their turn. A deal with the Merfolk. The Shadow Realm, huh? I feel like there's some lore going on. I'm feeling like I don't know enough about the lore to really keep up with it, but I'm glad that you all do. Don't think it's worth upgrading a food token, so we're going to hold off on that. Ooh, Ferocidon is hopefully going to lock up this game for us. Let's attack with the Lava Runner here. Then we can go Pillar Ferocidon, and then next turn, Experimental Frenzy comes online. So actually, that's probably why they brought in Cindervines, for the Experimental Frenzy. It just incidentally can get rid of the cage. They don't have anything good to play from the yard right now, so I don't know if we can get them to spend it before we run out Frenzy. We'll try, though. Yeah, it makes more sense for that, Dizwain. Oh, you played a little bit of everything, World 1 Live? Oh, nice. Standard 21. I haven't played that yet. What did you find to be really good? And I think many people agree with you. There's been a lot of Nissa Krasis Uro in the last several months, so trying something new is definitely welcome. Alright, Rocket Man, you're on the same page as me. So we get to braid away the Woe Strider, attack with everybody, including this Lava Runner. And yeah, I just don't see a lot of value in running out Experimental Frenzy into Cindervines. If there's any way we can avoid doing that, I'm going to try very hard. Now that they have Woe Strider in the yard, they're actually incentivized to get rid of the cage, because then they can bring Woe Strider back next turn. And that's when we hit them with the Frenzy. Yeah, World 1 Live, what were your favorite decks from Standard 21? What did you have success with, or what was really fun to play? All the dual lands are tapped. Interesting. So, really limits the 3-color decks for sure. And then, yeah, Rocket Man, gotta get in there also. Alright, this one, way too many lands. Don't want to draw 5 lands over the course of the entire game, so I'm gonna throw this one back. This is much better. It's close between the Pyromancer and the Lava Runner. I think we're just putting the Lava Runner back, and we'll go Soul Scar into some Pyromancers. Raigai, you've had fun with it so far? Oh yeah, Questing Beast is a house. So that's cool that it keeps that. What does it lose, World 1 Live, from the current standard mono green deck? Also, Raigai, what are you playing in Standard 2021? Okay, Pellet Collector's kind of a big deal because there's not a ton of great 1-drops. Troll, not as big a deal in my mind. So hopefully there's some 1-drops that are coming in the fall set. Alright, let's go ahead and get in here with the Soulscar Mage and run out a Pyromancer. Looks like we're up against Grixis Control, which I think is a pretty good matchup. We should be fast enough for that one. Oh, you just skipped the 1-drops entirely. Interesting. I could see maybe Lovestruck Beast plus Stonecoil Serpent helping with that a little bit. Yeah. Ooze and Barkhide Troll. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I haven't run Nessian Hornbeetle, but I could definitely see that being a fine replacement. Alright, let's get in here with the Pyromancer. What's that? Cut to ribbons, I see. Just go Pyromancer into Soulscar, and then we've got Lightning Strike, and then we're on to the Giganta game plan. 7-2 with no Lurrus. That's awesome, Ryguy. Okay, I could see that. Now, are you playing the X-Green fight spell, Primal Might? Because that is a favorite here in the Mythic Mat chat. So hopefully you've got at least some Primal Mights lurking in the 75, if not in the main deck. Alright, so we get to go Wizard's Lightning, Lightning Strike, and just swing with everybody. Let's attack first, and then fire off our instant speed stuff. Alright, World 1 Live, I like it. So let's see, let's check out the old Moss Viper. Yeah, I think it's probably not good enough just because it doesn't actually pressure the opponent all that much. I guess it could be decent in creature matchups, but you could do better than Moss Viper. Alright, so do we Wizard's Lightning away this? It gets through 1 less point of damage than hitting them, but we retain our Pyromancer here. And then we'll just Lightning Strike upstairs, and we've got the opponent on the ropes. Yes, welcome, Ryguy. Got the opponent down to 1 over here. Yeah, I think probably the pump spell makes more sense there. Just maybe we did. Good point, Dizwain. Because if they did that, we would have just gone upstairs and hit them for exactly lethal. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, good call. So should have thought a little bit longer. I didn't actually recognize that we were going to put them to 1, to be honest. I just knew that we were going to hit them for a lot of damage. So, yeah, we actually had lethal, but it did not matter, thankfully. And, yeah, I need a land, so I'm going to mulligan this. Alright, man, so many good options here. Let's get rid of the Pyromancer. Bone Crusher is basically a better Pyromancer. Yeah, anytime we can start off with the Soulscar Mage feels pretty good. Alright, they probably have to take light up the stage, I would imagine. So, the Soulscar would have done the same amount of damage regardless of what we aimed the first spell at, because it gets prowess whenever we cast the spell. So I think Dizwain is correct. I think we probably did miss lethal. Oh, they could have blocked... Yeah, okay, so they wouldn't have, though, to be honest, but they did have the opportunity to do that. That is fair. But yeah, they would have blocked the 2-1, and then we fire off both the burn spells at them. Alright, so here... let's get in there and immediately stomp with the plan of running out Bone Crusher next turn. Yeah, so that is the current deck list. Again, pretty similar to most people's mono red burns. I think Maybe some of the small differences are that we have 4 main deck Ferocidons. And we are splitting Hazoret and Experimental Frenzy at the top end. Yeah, Gingerbrute is a pretty sweet one. It does a nice job of pumping all that glitters and also being a little bit evasive, hard to block. Alright. We've done a much better job at keeping our squad in check thus far, but we've got a little bit more action where all this came from, so they're not out of the woods just yet. Nicol Bolas. I think we're just pitching the Lava Runner. I kind of want to get up to 5 mana for the Giganta here. So they know about the Pillar of Flame, but it still makes sense, I think, to play out Soulscar Mage and then Pillar Nicol Bolas, because then they don't have a good block. Oh my gosh, you must be playing the Hydra's Aspect, right, guy? Yeah, they're nowhere near exiling this. It's not a good blocker currently. Light of Hope. And you got it up to 4-5-2-5? That is insane. Oh, I see. Interesting. Alright, so let's grab Giganta, swing with the Soulscar Mage, and then shock the opponent. The downside of this is if they have a discard spell in for some reason. Alright, so there's no point in shocking just yet. I was going to say they can force us to discard Giganta, which might end up being important. Weird, but it works. Hey, that sounds good to me. Oof. Alright, so they've got Agonizing Remorse here. They're going to take Giganta no matter what. I'd be happy if they took the shock, I think. So I'll give them a chance to make a mistake. Don't really care about this 2-2 Nicol Bolas. I'm sorry that happened, Rocket Man, but I'm sure you will quickly climb back up. Which bracket are you about to promote into? So they took the shock. I'm very happy to see that. They must have an answer for Giganta, I guess. Just Aether Gust? Sure, we'll draw it again. It is a 1-1 split of Experimental Frenzy and Hazoret. Although, I did consider Torbran as well, because obviously in Burn, that card is crazy. It's just a little bit less immediately impactful than some of the other ones. The Scarab God. Alright, they don't have any zombies. So they can start making them, though. The Phoenix card from Jumpstart, is that the one that leaves behind the O1? Going for Diamond, nice. Man, there you got all the Nicol Bolases. Yeah, Scarab God, very good, obviously. Alright, we found Frenzy. I don't know if there's a way to survive, though. I guess we could hit Shock. They have Ribbons. Yeah, so I don't want to really show them Frenzy because we're just not getting out of this one. So let's go to the next game. Alright, this is solid. Got our Soulscar into light up the stage. And if they are able to immediately remove one, we've got a backup. No. Ball Lightning, I don't believe, is on Arena. Yeah, I don't think that one made its way to Arena. Alright, so let's attack first. Light up the stage and see what we hit. We are flooded right now, so we do need to find some action off of this. Ooh, Hazoret is one of the only 2 bad draws off of Light Up the Stage. The other one being Experimental Frenzy. So that is unfortunate. Now we're kind of reliant on Giganta and our top deck. Oh, there's the Rune Blaster, though. We're going to go for it for next turn. They have one turn to find some hand disruption. I'm going to take that risk for the chance to blow up one of their non-basics. Man, this is going to be cool if it works. Ooh, and they cycled the sensor, so hopefully they don't have another one in hand. Looks like they're going to destroy one of our Soul Scar mages. Alright, so obviously we have the option of just Wizard's Lightning and hitting them. If they have exactly another sensor, this Rune Blaster gets owned. But we can't really do anything else with our turn if we Wizard's Lightning. So I'm going for it. Fingers crossed. Alright, Rocket Man. Thank you very much for hanging out. It's always great to have you here. Have a great night. And yeah, best of luck. No, in your climb. They had to have the second sensor. Alright, well, we're on the Giganta plan now. Still got decent pressure. They've got some stuff to deal with here. Yeah, take care, Rocket Man. Alright, I feel like this means they have a sweeper since they didn't hit Giganta, but I mean, Wizard's Lightning does represent just a ton of damage there as well. Alright, let's just get Ramunap down. Go ahead and attack with these two, and then run out Giganta. It is, but I just feel like if we actually had resolved that kicked Rune Blaster, it would be game over. So it's just a little bit disappointing, but yeah, it is their whole turn. MTG Jesus, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a wonderful night. They could have Languish, which we play around pretty nicely. That's the most common one I've seen on like the black-based control decks. So Extinction Event is another possibility. Alright, we got another Rune Blaster coming in here that they cannot censor. They need other counter magic. Don't think there's any like instant speed sweeper that can punish us, so yeah, let's go ahead and play this out kicked. I don't want to tap that way. I'm going to tap the Ramunap runes. We can take them off of red mana here if this resolves. And doing a pre-combat, obviously, because it does have haste, so I do want this as an attacker. Nice. I like that. Do they have a Heartless Act for the Giganta? The Devil, I see. Alright. So be it. Still got decent pressure and no red mana for the opponent. Might as well run this guy out here as well. They're tapped out. Alright, and we do have 4 damage banked up off the Ramunap runes. Ooh, Cry the Carnarium. Ouch. Ooh, nice draw though. This is a roller coaster of emotion, everybody. Yeah, Cry was good in that spot for sure. Wouldn't mind finding an Experimental Frenzy at this point, but I do think we kind of got them by taking them off red mana. Does really limit all the Nicol Boluses that they could play. And a second Ferocidon seems pretty solid. Got 1 turn to find a sweeper. And if not, they're pretty much just dead. Yeah, these are solid. Any action here is a good draw, but Ferocidon is, you know, in the better half of draws for sure. Nice, and they even have to take 1 point of damage from the shark. Scarab God. Alright. I think I'm fine with this, right? Because they're going to get taxed really heavily for any creature that they bring back. And we got Ramunap runes. So I'm just trying to think about the safest way to play this. Because we have the option of attacking with all. In that case, they block one of our Ferocidons, which means that the Taxing goes down, but we get through 2 damage, putting them down to 3, and they lose the Shark. And they're dead to a Ramunap Runes. Right? Because we tag with everybody. I'm trying to triple check here. Ferocidon gets blocked there. Shark, like, oh, this doesn't have haste this turn. Never mind. It's all for naught. We're not attacking with everybody. We're just going to Ramunap them. Oh, the Menace. I keep forgetting about the Menace, Dancy Booch. Alright. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. Man, I got to remember the Menace on the Ferocidons. Does indicate a sweeper, I guess? Yikes. Ugh. I don't know. I might have blown this one. Alright, come on, Burn Spell. Nice. We got there. Alright, but I did my best to punt that game, but we are still undefeated. Never punished. That's right, Dizwain. Continue that climb. This is sketchy. Maybe we gotta throw this one back. Just not enough early pressure. Hazoret's not at its best when we can't pressure them early. Alright, this is okay. We got Lava Runner into Pyromancer at least. And then the Wizard's Lightning are unlocked by both of these. Question is, what are we putting back? Because Ferocidon's amazing. Lightning represents a ton of damage. The Lava Runner might not be good enough at this point. Maybe we just throw that one back. We miss out on our 1-drop, but we have Pyromancer. Or we could toss Pyromancer, have Lava Runner into double Wizard's Lightning, then Ferocidon. Yeah, I'm going to go for that line. Yes, I like the highlighted message, Dizwain. Thank you. Alright, sounds good, Mark. And I will see you soon. Have a great night. As always, great to have you here. Thanks for all that you do. Alright, a Boros land. What does that mean? Oh no, we're getting shot? Ouch. Alright, well that does slow us down. We still have Ferocidon next turn and a nice burn spell for any creature they play. And they're even going to help us out by shocking themselves. I like it. Definitely cannot allow the Arcanist to live. So this is a Rakdos Pyromancer deck, I believe. God's willing. Yikes. As much as I want to just land Ferocidon, the Arcanist seems very, very dangerous, so we're just going to Wizard's Lightning it away while they're tapped out. Don't want to give them insane value off of the Dreadhorde Arcanist there. Alright, and now it looks like we're in the clear. They're out of actual threats. Mardew's not super common. I thought they were... I know I said Rakdos Pyromancer, but clearly they are Mardu Pyromancer, or Mardu spells. Anyway, let's get this Ferocidon down here. Alright, Mark, as always, clipping some sort of a mistake that I've done. Okay, so now we get to swing in with the Ferocidon, play out the Pyromancer, and grab Giganta. I'll have to see which one that is in a minute. There's so many mistakes to choose from. It's really hard to narrow them down. Is that when I capture sphered my own thing during the pre-release? That was a classic. Alright. Oh, this is a feather deck. I've just figured it out, everybody. This is a feather deck we're up against. So, that being said, just swing with both, have lightning up if they go for like God's Willing, and then we can Giganta after attacks. If we don't need to use lightning, that is. Thanks, World One Live. Nice, Rye Guy. We've all been in those situations. Alright, get out of here, 10th District Legionnaire. No God's willing for you. And yeah, just a lava runner here. I think we've got the opponent on the ropes now. Yeah, there's the feather. Alright, so swing with everybody. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this. The Rampaging Ferocidon, it has Menace. So that one is guaranteed to get through. I don't think they run Winota. Alright, so if we swing with everybody, can Wizard's Lightning the feather to get rid of it? Or potentially just hit them because it is lethal. So that works too. Hey-o, I finally figured out the menace factor. And we've even successfully spotted lethal. We're improving at this game bit by bit. Feather. Alright, this is a keep though. We got our Soul Scar and our Light Up the Stage. So Feather is a really cool one. Basically, what it allows you to do is keep replaying spells. So they play a bunch of cheap 1-mana spells and getting to cast them over and over and over again. And a lot of those spells are things like God's Willing or other protection effects, so it's very difficult to actually get rid of Feather. Opponent just no mercy here. Shocks our Soulscar Mage right away. Yeah, Cage doesn't work, but I actually was thinking the same thing, World One Live. I was trying to figure out if it had any place to hinder Feather, but it does not. And we didn't see Winota, so, and I don't think they play it, which means Cage will stay in the board. This Arcanist really, really worries me. Let's attack with everybody first. Have white mana untapped. We don't have any spells in the yard currently, so if they block the Lava Runner and we go to stomp it and they go God's Willing, they just get to eat the Lava Runner. Alright, in that case, I think we're... Yeah, I'm going to do this because I really want to light up the stage. And there's a chance this goes really well. They have to do... Alright, so they're just going to take the damage, which is nice. Alright. Here we go. Let's find some good stuff off of our deck here. Oh, I'm so close to being able to guarantee we can get rid of the Arcanist. I'm 1 mana shy. Let's play our land. I guess we light up the stage again in Soulscar Mage. Because I don't think we're ever going to successfully Wizard's Lightning this. They almost certainly have God's Willing in hand. So let's just maximize our mana here. So we get really punished by exactly Shock if we run out the Soulscar Mage. So maybe we hold off for a turn. I don't know, it's tricky. I am going to hold off though. We'll make them keep up a God's Willing as well. We can always Wizard's Lightning the face. Yeah, it doesn't. Well, I think it actually does stop the Arcanist, right? Because it's you are casting it from your graveyard. So maybe that is a consideration to bring in. Yeah, players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. Got a Soulscar Mage of their own. Alright, so they're gonna play this Shock, and in response, we're going to try to hit their Soulscar Mage with our Wizard's Lightning, but it seems highly likely that they have a God's Willing up. I do the same thing frequently, Dizwain. You know, read the first half, assume that I know what the second half says. Healing Grace. Interesting. Well, this doesn't actually work, right? Or does it? Okay, I guess because the way Soulscar Mage is worded, it's only if you would deal the damage. It's not that you automatically get those counters. But now they are tapped very low. So we have potentially the ability to clear their board. Let's attack first here. Let's go for a Braid on the Arcanist. And then, oh no, I have to skewer the Arcanist first because we don't have an instant speed way to respond. So let's go skewer on the Arcanist. This way, if they have a protection spell here, we get to go Abrade in response. All right, and now I guess we can either Abrade or Lightning Strike the Soulscar Mage. Also just run out a Soulscar Mage, but I like trying to get rid of theirs. And I think we've navigated this one well. I think that we have the opponent in a really, really bad spot. Even if this is a protection spell, they're just totally out of gas here, and they don't have any of their engine cards up. Alright, so let's get in this attack. And then we're going to skewer them now, and we're going to plan to stomp them end of turn and run out the Bone Crusher Giant. And if we ever hit a land, we get to Experimental Frenzy. Alright, nice. We can stomp the Young Pyromancer, barring their last card being Protection. Alright, that is okay. Because now we get to start playing from the top of our deck. Okay, Feather is scary because that means their draws are very live. Okay. If we Lightning Strike Feather and find another burn spell, it's really good. There's just no guarantee that we do. I think our best bet is just to continue going after the opponent here. And we should be able to win this race, being able to play off the top of our deck. Okay, that is a very, very good draw. So they're going to refill their hand and be able to draw extra cards every turn as well with Defiant Strike. Alright, so they do have the ability to protect Feather. We've just got to continue going after the opponent here. No point in attacking with the Pyromancer because they can, again, just fight as one or do some other nonsense. Oh, man. Alright, they get probably one more turn. We should be able to hopefully burn them out next turn. And they can't, I don't think they'll be able to deal 13 damage here. Famous last words. We have Shock in hand if we ever blow up the Frenzy. That's a nice cheap 1 mana spell to deal some extra damage. Experimental Frenzy is so exciting. You just never know what you're going to hit. We just can't find a couple lands in a row. No. Alright. So we could blow this up. Shock. That doesn't quite do it, though. Still no point in attacking because they do have Fight as 1. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get there. We've hit a few too many land pockets on the top of the deck here. if somehow we survive one more turn, then Ramunap Runes can help us get there. Yeah, that's just going to do it. We get to swing in for 5. And yeah, all of these will pump the Soulscar Mage. Alright, we're going to game 3, everybody. Anyway, this seems really good. They don't deal with this Soulscar Mage immediately. We're going to see some extra cards. Uh-oh. Shock is not a good sign. Shock into shock. Alright, so now we go Shock, light up the stage, because this Lava Runner we want to get down when it has haste anyway. Alright. Go. We have to Chain Whirler here, as much as I want to. Well, maybe not. Because this is going to clean up whatever 1/1s they make anyway, and we get more value by doing it this way. So we'll let them think they're going to run wild with this Pyromancer, but hopefully that's not the case. Oh, and they did not even consider that that was going to happen, so alright. Alright. So if we swing in and they have a protection spell, they just get to eat the Pyromancer here. Huh. Seems very likely that they do have a protection spell. Yeah, I didn't expect them to block. I underestimated how likely they were to do that. I'm just running out this Chain Whirler here. I just think that they almost certainly have a protection spell with the Arcanist. And if we attack, we just basically give away our Pyromancer. But now we can maybe start pressuring them with this Chain Whirler. We do have them down to 9. I'm very worried that Feather is coming down, though. Alright, just another young... Okay, this could be okay here. They never count on the second Chain Whirler. Alright, so we're going to block here, force them to use some sort of protection now, and then hopefully get them with the next Chain Whirler. And this has First Strike, so if they have just like a Shock or something, they do trade off the Arcanist here. Alright, so it's Healing Grace. Alright, and we even have a Braid, so I think we go Chain Whirler first, attack in, and I mean if they have protection, they have to use it now. We can Braid in response. Iron Spider, welcome to the stream, hope you're doing well. Alright, so fight is 1. I think I need to Braid away the Arcanist. That seems more dangerous than the young Pyromancer, honestly. You just hit Mythic yesterday, congratulations! How did you get there? What deck were you playing? What format? Give me all the details. Alright, so no attacks, and let's get rid of the Arcanist while they are tapped out. That is awesome. That's a great accomplishment. Nice. Alright, so we have excellent attacks, and then we get to light up the stage. The creatures were indestructible, Dancy Booch, from the protection spell they played. So it would have just tapped our creatures for no effect. And you can always ask, Dancy Booch. Oh man. So we get to Shock and Stomp here. Or we could just go face and have Ramunap Runes win the game for us next turn. I think both are very safe, but we'll plan on going upstairs and Ramunap Runesing for the victory. You were playing Standard? Nice. What was your deck? Oh, Temur Adventure. I see that now. And you changed to Mono White Life Gain. Cool. Alright, so let's first lead with Shock. And now if they play the Prevent Damage, we get to Stomp, which means that the damage can't be prevented. Yeah, exactly. So this does not do it for them. We are going to get to Ramunap Runes to victory. Good game, opponent. Yeah, and these don't have trample anyway. They just have first strike, so no point in attacking there.